Okay, so number 6. It's a little bit more complicated, but anyway, we can do this. Okay. First, find out what you're looking for. We're looking for a sub 5, okay? And we need ran. Let's see. We have 5, n is 5, but we don't have r or we don't have an a, okay? These are not the first terms. So just like in the arithmetic sequence, when we don't have the first term, but some kind of terms in the middle, then what we do is we set up an equation. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to start with a sub 6, and that is 1 over 32. Now, how do you find a sub n? This is a general rule, right? Any term is a times the first term times ratio to the n minus 1. So we're going to do that. So this is a times, what is r? We don't know what r is, but n minus 1. n is 6, so minus 1 will be 5. So we can do the same thing for a sub 2, which is half. This is found by a times r to the n minus 1. n is 2, minus 1 is just 1. So we're just going to leave it there. Now, in arithmetic series, what we did was we subtract them, right? We subtract and we get rid of whatever is the same, and then we have either d and find the a, things like that, right? But since this is geometric, we cannot subtract, but we can divide. Okay, we can divide. So we're gonna divide this a sub 6 over a sub 2. So we're dividing this, right? Or we're dividing, same thing. We're dividing. So let's see. Let's divide this one first. Well, they reduce, right? So, and then they reduce, and then it becomes r to the 4th power. Okay, equals. Now we need to divide this. How do you divide? Well, at the very top and the bottom, you times it, and then it becomes a numerator. So 2, and then the bottom here and the top, you times it, and it becomes the denominator. And now we can reduce it. It becomes 1 over 16. So we have r to the 4th power equals 1 over 16. Now this is same thing as r to the 4th power over 2 to the 4th power. Okay, because if you have 4 of them, it becomes 16. Okay, now if you take a root, okay, if you take a root the 4, right, then it becomes, it comes 1 out, 1 comes out, and then 1 come out here, but plus minus. So r is plus minus half. Okay, so we have this. So which one is it? Is it going to be plus or minus? In this case, they tell us that r is greater than 0. So you have to really pay attention to the questions, okay? So we know it's not the negative, so r is half. So we found r. r is half. r is half. Where r? Okay, so now we have to find a. How do we find a? Well, we can put this in either here or here, but this is easy, so I'm going to put it here. And then we're going to use this formula right here, right there. So half equals a times r. What is r? Half. So what is 1? A is 1. 1 times half is half. So a is 1. A is 1. Now we're ready to find s sub 5. Okay, good. So s sub n is again a times, since r is smaller than 1, we're going to write 1 first because that's bigger. And then half, and to the nth power, n is 5. So say 5 over, I'm sorry, a is 1. And again, r is half, and then minus 1. Okay, let's look at this. Oh, no, I am so sorry. This is 1 minus half, right? Yeah, this is 1 minus half. Okay, so if we do this, the bottom's going to be half. What about here? Now, this is the same thing as 1 over 32. So we have a 1 minus 1 over 32. So we could say 32 over 32, which is 1, right? Then that becomes 31 over 32. 31 over 32 times 1. It's just again, so we times that. You know, I don't want to times them. I want to just write it here like this. So maybe we can reduce it later, right? See? You can reduce that 1. And then this is 16, right? So the answer is 31 over 16. That means we have sequence where there are 5 terms, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because it's S of 5, right? And then if you add all of them, it is going to be 31 over 16. So that's what that means. Oh, sorry, you couldn't see that. All right, so another question, number 7. Let's go. Let me make some rooms here. Okay, number 7. So the third term of a geometric sequence is 4. That means a sub 3 is 4, okay? And of course we want to write ren, right? The r is 2, it tells you, okay? And what is the sum of the first 5 terms of the sequence? It already tells you the first 5 terms, s sub 5, so n is 5. But we don't know the first term, okay? So let's see. We have a1 plus a2 plus a3 plus a4 plus a5. And we're looking for that sum. We know the third one. Third one is 4, right? And the ratio is 2. So I divide 4 by 2, it's going to be 2. Divide by 2, it's going to be 1. If I times 2, it'll be 8. Times 2, it'll be 16. In this question, it's a lot easier to find it this way and then add all of them. Right? So that makes it 10, 5. 5 ends 10, 15. 15 plus 16 is 31. Okay. Number 8. Let's see number 8. The sum GN of a geometric sequence with the first term G. The first term G. Okay. And common ratio is this. Okay. Add up the first 5 terms. So we have ren. First 5 terms. That means n is 5. Of the following sequence. Okay. The first one is given, which is 1. The ratio 2 divided by 1 is 2. Okay. Now, what is that? Now, don't be thrown off by this. This is same thing as Sn. With all the Sn equals a times 1 minus r to the nth power, 1 minus r. It's the same thing. Okay, so sometimes some books will use g of n or like t of n. I don't know, like you can even say q of n or something, okay? But of course, 99.99% of the time they will use this. But sometimes they will do that, okay? But don't be thrown off. So I included this question to help you see that when they change it, they will have to explain what it is. As long as they explain what they are, you know, they can change it. So the sum Gn is a sum of a geometric sequence with the first term. So instead of A, they say G. But it's just exactly the same thing. So note, Sn doesn't always have to be indicated with Sn. Okay, so now it becomes easy. Okay, so G of n, fine, we will just use that. Oh, so G of 5, we're looking for G of 5, right? Equals, the first term is 1. 1 minus r to the nth power, 5. And then we have 1 minus r is 2. Okay. Now in this case, r is greater than 1, but they used 1 minus r instead of r minus 1. So this is going to be negative. But it's okay. This is going to be negative too. So eventually they'll be positive. So, okay, the bottom one is going to be negative 1. This, I told you, is a 32. So 1 minus 32 is negative 31. So they cancel out. The answer is 31. So that was a pretty easy question. Okay. Let's look at this one, number 9. Compute the sum of the first 8 terms. Ran. 8 terms, so n is 8. Okay. of the following sequence of Gn. Gn, Sn, same thing, all right? The first term is 1. What is the ratio? Well, in this case, oh, you might go, oh, what is that? You know, you can't think of it right away. But anything divided by 1, anything times 1 is that, right? Or you can think of it this way. How did 1 become negative half? Well, you times negative half, right? So r is negative half. So we found everything. So let's go. G of 8, right? G of 8 is 1. And then they want you to use just this one. They still want you to use this one. So we'll go ahead and start with 1. Okay. What is 1 minus? R is negative 1/2. And N is 8 over 1 minus negative half. Let's do the bottom first. That it become positive. So that's 3 over 2, right? What about here? I already said 2 to the 8th power is 256. Okay, so this becomes 256. Although this is negative number, but we have an even number of exponents, so they become positive. Okay, they become positive, but we have a 1 minus 256. So 256 divided by 200, this is 1. Minus that is 255 over 256. So this is going to be the numerator. Okay, 255 times 2. This is going to be denominator, 256 times 3. So I just use a calculator. It's 510 over 768. If you reduce it, it goes 85 over 128. Okay. The next question, number 10. Okay.